Okay, welcome everybody to this talk, Embrace the Conflict. My name is Sabine Wojcieszak, and I will guide you through my ideas about conflicts in teams and why they are so important. So, actually, we are not able to have this conference in person-to-person version, but I really love interaction with audience. And yeah, for today, I really like emojis. So feel free to join me via Slido and send me your reactions as emojis so that I can see that people are participating this talk. Thank you for that. So, when we talk about conflicts, we have to talk about people. And when we have a look at people and conflicts, we will find out that conflicts have appeared all over the history. As long as human mankind is existing and it's recorded, we have conflicts. So, conflicts seem to be a very bad thing. Did you know that in 2019 we had 358 wars and conflicts all over the world? This is a number which really makes me sad because we have had so many wars and conflicts all over the world in the past, and we always pretend that we want to learn from them, but still we have so much wars and conflicts. Did you know that 87 conflicts in 2019 were because of resources? Question of resources. People fight because of it. And since 2010, we have 466 conflicts because of water. These are numbers which are not making me happy. And yeah, when I then look at the world, when I look at companies, when I look at teams, when I look at projects, and also in families, we will have conflicts everywhere. And my question is, do we really want to learn? I think it's not a question if we are able to learn, it's more a question about, do we really want to learn? I'm not sure about this yet. So, as a consultant and a trainer and a coach, I'm often in companies and I see different teams. And some teams, they struggle with conflicts. Conflicts bring them into danger and they bring their results into danger. And other teams, they grow while having conflicts. They bring up magic, fantastic solutions. And the question is, what is the difference in these teams? Why do some teams struggle with conflicts and, yeah, sacrifice their success? And why do other teams grow because of conflict and do the magic? So, I just told you that I am a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm working for the company Get Next IT, and yeah, we help companies to grow on their agile movements, on their DevOps initiatives, and we try to make people aware of the importance of human being, of interaction, and of culture. I'm also a lecturer at university. I'm author and speaker and organizer of several meetups. I'm based in Kiel. That's where I'm today. Not in Vilnius, but today in Kiel. And just to give you an overview how my home base looks like, I'm working at a co-working space uh, where no one is there actually. You know why, but this is where we have our office. So let's dive deep into the definition of what is a conflict. A conflict is a serious disagreement between people, teams, organizations, countries with opposing opinions, needs, principles, values, beliefs, goals, or whatever. And it's also the fighting between two or more groups of people or countries or teams or whatever. So, opposing opinions, needs, principles, values, beliefs, goals. And then let's have a look. In DevOps, we bring together people from different disciplines with diverse opinions, goals, needs, beliefs, in order to find great solutions, to find solutions for really complex problems. So the question is, when we bring all those people together with their different opinions, with their different goals, their different needs, and we are still convinced that this is a good idea and that these diverse teams will be able to do the magic. So why do we have, on the other hand, so many conflicts? Because of different opinions, different goals, different needs. That's a good question. So we say today we live in a complex world, which is called the VUCA world and which is also defined by the complexity. And to solve complex problems, we are sure that diverse teams are the key to success. No one can do this alone as a hero anymore. Not someone or a group of people thinking the same way, having the same background, having the same education, are able to solve those complex problems or to create solutions for solving these complex problems. So we have a need to bring different people, different professions together to solve these problems. So complexity requires diversity, but diversity also gives the potential of conflict. And this is really important when we think about DevOps, which is interdisciplinary with a lot of people from different professions. And when you then add Biz DevOps or DevOps or something like this, people with more different opinions, different goals, different professional background, then this potential of conflict will grow. So let's have a look at the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Patrick Lencioni wrote a book about this, and it's very interesting. And one part of this pyramid is the fear of conflict. And this fear of conflict will cause an avoidance of conflict. People will not take the conflict, the chance for the conflict, because they fear it. But the avoidance of conflict often is taken to create some kind of harmony. Yeah? No one will be angry, no one will fight, no one will discuss. So if we avoid a conflict, it seems that we have some kind of harmony. But be careful. This is just an artificial harmony. It's not a natural harmony. It's not sustainable. It's just caused because no one is trying to make this conflict obvious and to discuss it. But if we don't have these conflicts, if we have a fear of conflict, we will also have a lack of commitment within a team. And if we have a lack of commitment, we will avoid accountability because we fear conflicts, we have no commitment, and we will avoid accountability. But with no accountability, we will just pay no attention to results. We are just busy with covering our ass, something like this. And yes, Patrick Lencioni says all this comes just from the basic thing, which is called trust. If there is no trust, we will fear conflict, we will have a lack of commitment, we will avoid accountability, and we have no attention to results. He says what we need to do is to have healthy conflict, which implies a candidate debate, that we trust to speak our opinions without fear of retribution, something like this. So he says, if we see a conflict, we need to discuss it. We need to talk about our different opinions, and we need to find out what we can do to solve it. And if we have these healthy conflicts, then we will come to commitments, which means we have heard all, we have disagreed, we have made decisions, and we have all as one voice. We buy in everyone, we have one voice. But this only works if we have the chance to have this healthy conflict. It does not work with artificial harmony. Then we will never buy in everyone. And if we have these commitments, these sustainable commitments, these reliable commitments, then we come into the thing that we are able to take the accountability for our commitments so that we all do what needs to be done to follow our commitments, to fulfill our goals, to reach our goals. And if this is reality, then we can focus on delivering measurable results. We have our accountability, we have our commitments, we know in which direction we want to go, we can give feedback, we can work with this feedback, and we take this feedback as something good and not as something bad. So then we have our results, our focus on results. But also, therefore, we need trust. We need to build trust, and this trust has something to do with being vulnerable. We have the courage to risk something. We have the courage to say something we know that it will maybe start a conflict. We are willing to say no to an idea just because we don't believe that this is a good idea, and we can discuss it. This is important. We need trust to have healthy conflicts, and we need healthy conflicts to have good commitments, sustainable commitments, to have accountability of everyone in the team so that we are able to deliver measurable results. So, what is a healthy conflict? This is a good question. What is a healthy conflict? One is important. The goal of the healthy conflict is to have a better solution than what it is now. It's not about winning for me as a person. It's not about making someone else lose. It's about the better solution for compared to what we have now. Yeah, but what is important to have trust? When we want to create trust, we need definitely transparency. We need clear, committed goals. And we need open communication. But again, let's go back to the pyramid. When there is no trust, how can we get committed goals? Because there's a lack of commitment. And when there is no trust, who is willing to communicate in an open way? And when there is no trust, who is willing to be transparent? So creating trust is important. Creating trust, you don't need a magic spell to create trust. It's more a mindset, it's a culture, and it's a process. And when we talk about creating trust, it's not just the task of management. Creating trust, it is about me, you, and everyone as an individual. We talk about mindset. Mindset is what we have in our mind, in our feeling, in our behavior. Every single person in the team, in the company. It is our behavior with each other. That's culture. How do we behave with each other? Do I behave as if I trust the other person, my teammate? Or do I behave more or less like a control freak? And it's about continuous improvement, which means it's not just and trust is there. It's a way we have to go, a process. We need to start somewhere. And we have still a lot of companies which have a really low trust environment. And also of those companies with a low trust environment, some of them are trying to raise up DevOps departments. And I talked to someone last year and she told me, yes, we have a DevOps department. I asked, what are they doing? They are building the pipelines for our builds. And I said, what's in the pipelines? What are you measuring? What are you looking for? What do you take care of? She said, I don't know. We are writing the codes and then we put everything in the pipeline. And next morning, we get all the feedback, the technical feedback, but we don't know what's in. No one has talked to us. So we have no chance to give our ideas, to give our concerns, something like this. And they are changing it frequently. So this is not DevOps, and this has nothing to do with continuous improvement. And this has also nothing to do with trust. If you would trust each other, this pipeline department would talk to those people who are developing the software. Some of those unicorn companies, those very magic companies, they have trust as a default setting. So they say, whoever joins our company, the first thing we do is we trust this person. So no one needs to earn trust. Everyone has trust. And this is the default setting in their companies. But even then, if a single person joins this company, it depends on what this person is familiar with. Is this person familiar with getting trust and giving back trust? So the Thomas Kilmann model, it's about the 5 options of conflict resolution, says we have 5 different options how we can deal with conflicts. And he said there's one, they both, 2 psychologists, say the first strategy is the avoidance strategy. We do some kind of sidestepping or postponing an issue, although we see there is an issue and although we know we need to take care of this. The second one is the accommodation. We're yielding to another's point of view. We obey an order, even if we are not willing to, but we do it just to avoid some kind of conflict. Yeah, I do what he is saying just to keep him quiet, but I'm not wanting to do this. And then we have the competition with a high assertiveness, with a lot of power and a lot of engagement. Someone is trying to win, someone is standing up for his own rights and goals. And yeah, this is somehow good, somehow bad, depends on the level of the competition. And we have the collaboration. We are digging into an issue to identify underlying concerns. We want to understand what's going on. Why does this other person have another opinion than I have? And maybe we can get something great out of it. In the center of this, there is the compromise. We want to meet in the middle. And a lot of people think a compromise is always the good thing. But we will see if this is really the case. So the avoidance is a lose-only situation. If we avoid a conflict, this conflict will grow, it will not be resolved, and no one in the end will be happy. Maybe for me, if I try to avoid this conflict, in the very, very short term, it seems to be a good idea because I don't need to care about this. And does not bring me in an uncomfortable situation. But for the mid and long terms, this is not helpful because this problem will come up and up and up again and again, and maybe it will grow. So the accommodation is a lose-win situation from my point of view. I do what the other one wants me to do. I lose because I don't want to do this, but the other person wins because this person can give his idea without any discussion. It's some kind of cooperation, but not with a lot of engagement from my side. The competition is the win-lose situation. One person will win, the other will lose. On the short term, this might be a good thing. On the long term, the question is how the person who has lost will contribute to my idea. Yeah, it's somehow also about the chance of losing the face. The collaboration side is the win-win situation. We discuss our ideas, we discuss our opinions, we discuss our concerns, and maybe then we will come to another solution, which maybe is not mine, is not yours, but a third one. And sorry. So when we come to the compromise in the middle, it's the question, is this good? Is this bad? Is this win-win? Is this win-lose? Is this lose-lose? I think it depends. And a lot of people say compromise is both are losing. And if the compromise is in that way that you just find a small solution which helps both, but is not the best solution, then maybe it's not a win-win situation. So we always need to think about the special situation, if the compromise is the good way, or if we really need to have the best solution, then we need to collaborate. So healthy conflict means we come from the competitive side and or the compromise side, and we move forward the collaboration side. Maybe we start as a competition, and then we find out, okay, this is really interesting. We need to discuss it. We need to dig deeper, and we need to find out which are the underlying concerns in this situation. And then we come to a healthy conflict with a good solution at all. Mahatma Gandhi once said, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind, which means to fight just to be the winner. And everything around you is standing still and just waiting to this conflict being ended by those persons who are fighting with each other. This will not help. The whole team is not able to work because of a single conflict is not a good solution. And you know, our world is moving faster and faster and faster because of our VUCA world and of all the complexity. We don't have time to just stand still and being not able to work because of single conflicts. So we need to identify those conflicts and work on them. So why do people try to avoid conflicts or try to accommodate them? Maybe they think, this conflict is not my business. I don't need to take care of this because I'm not committed to the goal, so I'm not interested in spending time and energy on it. Or they have mentally quit the whole conversation, the whole team, the whole goal, what they are working for. But maybe they have made bad experiences in taking part of in a conflict. Maybe they are afraid of taking part. They don't know what's waiting for them after that. Or they don't feel responsible for it. It's not my problem. It's not my stuff. I haven't done anything. Or they believe I can't do anything anyway, so why should I spend energy on it? Or, yeah, I'm very busy. I have more important or other things to do, so let them do their conflict on their own and I'm just taking care of my stuff. Or I am the one who says, it will only cause stress and I don't want to have stress. I want to have harmony, so I will not take part in this discussion or I will not make this conflict obvious. So it's a question of my mindset or my inner team. Friedemann Schulz von Thun, a German psychologist, brought up the idea with the inner teams. And he says, we have a lot of different team members inside of us. And the one is the more curious one, the other one is the more afraid one, one part of us is the engaged one, the other one is the one who seeks for harmony and all those stuff. So it's a question, which part of our inner mind is in charge now, has the most power, the most energy, and maybe this part of our inner team is the one who causes that we try to avoid conflicts or to accommodate them. So the question is, which part of our inner team is in charge? And again, let's have a look at Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and DevOps. If you are in DevOps, you will follow the Agile principles. Maybe you are doing Scrum or you are doing Kanban, but it doesn't matter. The overall goal are self-organizing teams. And you want to do great stuff. If you just do business as usual, which can be done by anyone, then you don't need to do DevOps. But you want to do the great solutions for the complex problems of your customers. So you want to do the magic, the great stuff. The Kanban principles say we need to have leadership at all levels. It's not a question of management, leadership at all levels, especially when we want to have self-organizing teams. And this means power to the people. In Agile, in Scrum, in Kanban, in DevOps, the people working on the team are the ones who have the power. They are self-organizing. They should be able to take the role as a leader from time to time whenever it is important. So they have the power. Power to the people. They are the ones who make decisions. They are in charge for giving the results. They are responsible. They are owning their measurements, their metrics. They are owning their work. They are owning the project. So they have the power. But to have the power, to get the power, also means that we need to take responsibility. You can't take the power or have the power and don't take responsibility, on the other hand, for what you want to reach as a team. So with power, there comes responsibility into the game. And Christopher Avery had created the responsibility process. And on top of it, it's the situation that you are really, really, really willing to take responsibility. You do not try to deny that there is a conflict. You do not lay blame on other people who have caused the conflict, who are responsible for the conflict. You do not justify yourself that you are not trying to resolve this conflict. You are not ashamed of your action or not action, and you do not feel obliged to do something. I have to do something, accommodation. Yeah? I have to obey, but I don't want to. You take the responsibility. I see here's a conflict. This conflict is harming our initiatives, our goals, or something like this. And I will jump in and I will make it obvious and I will speak. I will raise my voice and speak to the rest of the team members so that we can find a solution for this. So if the subject of the conflict is an issue for you, it definitely matters to you because you are part of the team. And if the subject of the conflict is an issue for you, you are maybe not able to do your work in a proper way, to give your best engagement. So it matters to you. If the subject of the conflict is an issue for the team, it definitely matters to you because you are part of the team and you are with the team responsible for your results. You are the owner of the product. So if the subject of the conflict is an issue for the project, it also definitely matters to you because you are part of the team who is working on the project and who wants to have the success and wants to reach the goal. So if the subject of the conflict is an issue for the goal and the success, it definitely matters to you, which means whatever happens as conflict in your team environment, in your company's environment, which is harming your work, your project, your team, your goals, your success, you are in charge. You can't wait for another one to take this responsibility. It is your responsibility. Everyone of us can take it. So, what can we do? First of all, if we try to avoid conflict, try to ask yourself, what is my inner conflict? Why do I not want to take this conflict? Why do I not want to make this conflict obvious? Why do I just try to avoid it? Maybe if I want to compete with another one in this conflict, ask yourself, what is my real goal? What do I really want to achieve? Is it what I'm saying? Or is there something hidden which I don't want to talk about? Make yourself obvious what is your real goal. And if I have assumptions like, oh, it does not make any sense when I say something because no one will listen, are there any proofs that people will really behave like that? Where are these proofs from? Or is it just an excuse that you don't need to say anything, that you don't need to contribute? Do you know the perspective of the other people in your team? Have you ever asked why they have a different opinion? What is their concern? And do you try to understand the other perspective? Do you also try to get into their shoes to see it from their point of view? Maybe this may help if you are in conflict with someone else to understand what's going on. It also helps if you are not part of the conflict, but you want to help in this conflict, to see the different points of views and to understand what's going on. What are the perspectives in there? And also, a good question, what is your contribution or your role in this conflict? Maybe you don't have an active part in this situation, in this issue, but maybe you have a passive part, and a passive role, passive contribution can also affect those issues, those conflicts. And are you really willing to solve the conflict, or do you just want to win? Do you just want to be the one who has had the great idea, the hero of the whole team? Or are you really willing to solve the conflict? Or do you want someone to see that this person is losing? Ask yourself. And ask yourself, what will be the costs of an ongoing conflict if this conflict is not solved? What will the costs be? Not in a monetarian way, but also in the way of our um, climate, our culture we have in the team. So, what will be the costs if we do not solve the conflict now? And in the positive way, what are the benefits of the solved conflict? What can be the outcome of it? That's also an interesting question. If we want to do this, we need to be aware of what's going on. We need to be aware of our teammates. We need to be aware of ourselves, our emotions about discussions and all those things. And we need to be aware that we are able to help to solve things. And therefore, we need to observe. We need to observe what's going on. We need to observe when we come to a commitment and we see that another one is with his facial expression showing that this person is not really okay with our commitment, but just says no. Then we need to jump in and ask, okay, maybe Sabine, you are not looking happy with our commitment. Are you really committed on our goals? Or what's your concern about this? So therefore, we need to have a look at people, we need to talk, and we need to ask. If we see a hint that something is going the wrong direction, ask. And We need to take care of each other. We need to take care of our team. And we also need to take care of our whole goals, of our success. If we are not interested in taking care of this, then yeah, you don't need to take care of conflicts anymore. And if you see that there is a problem, an issue arising, which might cause a conflict, make it obvious to everyone. Maybe the others are not observing it. Maybe they are not that aware because of several circumstances. When you see it, make it obvious to everyone. Don't believe the others will see it anyway, so I don't need to talk about it. Maybe it's not the case. Or maybe everyone is thinking the same way. So make it obvious someone needs to be the first. If we want to solve conflicts in a team, there's one good advice. We all need to leave our ego in the cloakroom. There is no ego needed to solve conflicts. We need team players. We don't need the heroes. We don't need people with a big ego who want to win a battle. We want team players who are able to collaborate and who are able to put their own opinion on the table and discuss about it, get feedback about it, and find a great solution. If you don't take care about an upcoming conflict at an early stage, it will grow and grow and grow. Yeah, maybe at the beginning it's a small issue, but if we leave it unattended, it will grow maybe to the elephant in the room. Everyone knows this saying, the elephant in the room is the problem everyone sees and everyone tries to not touch, not talk about, but just finding some kind of workarounds because we are not able to move it out of the room anymore. It's not possible, it's too expensive, it's just too big. So if we see that a conflict is coming or maybe can rise out of an issue, then try to take care of it just as early as possible. Paul Watzlawick once said, we cannot not communicate. I say we cannot not contribute to our corporate culture. And when we talk about the pyramid of trust, the 5 dysfunctions of a team, or in a positive way, the 5 functions of a team, then we talk about trust at the bottom of this pyramid. And trust is the question of culture. So we all contribute to our corporate culture, whatever we do, even if we are doing anything about it. So if we just don't contribute to a discussion, if we do not react on things going wrong, if we do not react on conflicts, we contribute to our culture in a negative way, but we contribute to our culture. So culture is what we create. It's a process. We will never have the final state of culture. Our culture will always develop. And we are the one who are developing this culture with our actions, with our behavior, with our contribution. And we are always contributing whatever we do. So at the end, it's always about people and culture. If we want to have healthy conflicts, which bring us to better solutions, we talk about culture, and with culture, we talk about people. So don't forget that you all are responsible for what your team wants to reach. And if you're responsible for this, you should take this responsibility. You should make conflicts obvious, and you should see conflicts as the chance to grow out of it, instead of struggling with conflicts and sacrificing your success. Thank you very much.